Hello and welcome to this video. Happy spring! In this video, I'm going to be talking about some books that just capture the magic of spring. So these are all books that I have read, that I have loved, that I want you to read this spring because I feel like it would just add to the magic of spring. Let's talk about these books. First group of books is all kind of captures the natural magic, the natural beauty of spring. Book number 1 is The Wild Robot. This book is about a robot who crash lands on an island that is uninhabited by humans, but is very much inhabited by many different wild animals. And this robot, who has been made to serve humans, adapts to serve these wild animals instead. Roz is the name of the robot. She becomes friends with all of these animals. She takes care of them. They take care of her in return. And it's just a lovely little story about a robot. With all of the woodland animals and creatures that you meet in this book, it reminds me of like the Disney movie Bambi or Snow White, with all of those cute little woodland creatures scurrying around and helping each other. And that's kind of the vibe I get with this book. It's just cute. If you love seeing all of the cute little baby birds and ducklings and goslings, and if you love that part of the spring, you'll love this book. Please read it. Books number 2 and 3 are The Monk and the Robot duology by Becky Chambers. These two books in this like utopian world, and we are focusing on a tea monk who is trying to find purpose in their life. They are trying to figure out what they want to do with their life and how they can find fulfillment in their life. And so we have this tea monk. He goes out on this journey, is traveling through the world. There's beautiful descriptions of the nature in this world, woods and things like that. And along the way, the monk meets a robot who has been living away from humanity, off in the wild for so long, and is curious about how they can reconnect with humans and how they can help the humans. So this monk and this robot find each other, they become friends, they teach each other important lessons. If you like Studio Ghibli movies, you're gonna love these books. It has that like calm, slow, thoughtful, like thought-provoking, whimsical Studio Ghibli feel. The last book that has to do with the natural world and how beautiful it is in spring is Braiding Sweetgrass. This book is a nonfiction book. It's a collection of essays by the botanist Robin Wall Kimmerer. She is also Native American, and so she weaves in stories, Native American folklore into these essays. And so these essays end up being just the perfect balance of like scientific knowledge, but also like this folkloric, is that a word? Weaving science and folklore and indigenous beliefs into these essays. It's just the perfect balance of all of those things, and it really gets you to think more about the world, the natural world around you, plants, flowers, trees, all of it. It gets you to appreciate those things a little bit more and see the beauty in those things more. So this is a great thing to read right now in the spring. This next category is books that are just like charming and playful but have some romance. Spring just feels romantic somehow. So these books encapsulate that element of spring. The first book that I'd like to recommend is The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. I just read this with another booktuber friend of mine. Her name is Chelsea. I had so much fun reading it. I think we both agreed that like it was just fun and silly, and that was kind of fun. It was nice to read something kind of witty and silly and ridiculous and just lighthearted. Lighthearted is the word I'm looking for. That was my experience reading it. I loved it. This book is a romance. It's a rivals to lovers romance between two ornithologists who research these magic birds. It is delightful. If you want a romance that's funny, like really like actually silly and funny, go check out this romance. Next is Half a Soul. This book is set in Regency England, but a more magical version of Regency England. This focuses on a young girl who has had half of her soul stolen by an evil fairy. Because half of her soul has been stolen, she is a little bit awkward. She is a little bit different than everybody else, approaches things a little bit differently, doesn't quite understand social cues and things like that. She's definitely neurodivergent coded, which I love. This is her story of finding love, even though because she is different, she kind of hasn't been expecting to find love, but she finds love in this book, and it's cute. And like I said, it's set in during the Regency period in England, so if you like Jane Austen, if you like Bridgerton, it's the same time period. I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. There are balls, there are parties, it's lovely. All right, another Regency romance that I'm going to recommend to you is Edenbrooke. This book is This book is just charming. This is a charming little Regency romance about a girl named Marianne, who, again, kind of similar to Theodora and Half a Soul. Marianne is a little bit awkward, a little bit. Part of that is that she has a twin sister who is the life of the party, the prettiest girl in town, the most popular girl in town. And so in comparison, Marianne just feels like the shy, awkward one. But in this book, she is invited to stay the summer at this grand estate called Edenbrooke, and she makes friends while she's on this trip. She finds love while she's on this trip. This book is a lot of fun. I'm going to be reading this with my friends this month for our book club, and I cannot wait because it is just so charming. And so the first time I read this, I was in high school and I read it, and so to me there is that just feeling of being a teenager, a teenage hopeless romantic, and just loving everything about love, people falling in love. And so this book reminds me of that. And so you might not have had the same experience of reading this when you were in high school, but I think you might still feel the same way, and you want Marianne and her love interest to get together, and the way that they get to know each other and fall in love, it has you just rooting for love and wanting that so badly, just like you would if you were a teenager. If you read Edenbrooke, if you like Edenbrooke, there is another book by the same author with very similar, it has you rooting for love. This book is called Blackmoore, and this book is more of a friends to lovers, but these two love interests grew up together. Obviously they're friends, they're best friends, but their parents don't want them getting together. So it's a little bit of forbidden love as well, and it's just, ooh, same feelings as Edenbrooke, but different story. And because I am who I am, I gotta recommend Jane Austen. This is my collection of Jane Austen books. They aren't pretty, but they are well loved. I love Jane Austen so much, and she is like the original Regency romance. So if you like that time period, if you like romance, if you want that charming English countryside, going to balls and just the etiquette and all of that, Jane Austen is the original, so go read Jane Austen. Because Jane Austen just feels springy to me. Moving on to the next category. This category is all about adventure and exploration, because I feel like winter is a time for hibernation, but once you wake up, you want to have new adventures again, right? So these are the books that you read if that's how you're feeling this spring. Number 1 is The Hobbit. This is the prequel to the Lord of the Rings series. It is about a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins who goes on a journey with 13 dwarfs and the wizard Gandalf to reclaim the dwarfs' home for them from an evil dragon. As our dwarfs and our hobbit and our wizard are going on this journey, they encounter different bumps in the road. In a way, this almost feels kind of like a TV series where like you have this episode, you have this chapter, you have this something that happens, like you have a situation that happens in this episode, right? And then it kind of closes, but then you know that there's gonna be another episode happening. That's how the chapters in this book feel. And because of that, it has like a little bit of a cozier feel to it than the Lord of the Rings series. The stakes here are also a little bit lower. So if you like cozier fantasy and are a little bit intimidated by the Lord of the Rings series, maybe start off with The Hobbit, because it is just lovely. I like it a lot. And if you like audiobooks, listen to the audiobook read by Andy Serkis. It's amazing. Next book in this category is a graphic novel called Lightfall. This is about a girl and a Galdurian, which is a creature. And this girl and this Galdurian have to go on this journey to save the girl's adopted grandfather, the pig wizard, who has been kidnapped, and they need to go find him and save him. What I love about this book, about this graphic novel, is that this girl is anxious. Going on this big adventure is kind of scary to her, and you see in the way that the art style of this book depict that anxiety when she starts to feel anxious. The colors get darker, the background starts to fade out, and you just see her. My opinion of this style is not unique. If you've heard people talk about this graphic novel before, they've all talked about this, but I'm just gonna add my voice to the love for this book, for the way that it depicts anxiety, and that even though does have anxiety, she doesn't let that stop her from going on this adventure to save her grandfather. The last book in this adventure category is Inkheart. This book is about a girl named Meg and her father, Mo. Mo is a bookbinder who has a very special power of bringing stories to life when he reads books out loud. Meg and Mo run into a little bit of a situation when some villains that Mo has read out of a storybook come and kidnap Mo and demand that he return them to their story. And so Maggie has to find a way to save her dad, to put the story right again. And it is just delightful. If you love reading books, this is the book for you. It just really captures the magic of reading and how we all, as readers, I think we all want the books that we read to come to life. Maybe not every book, but there are definitely books that we've read that we want to come to life. We want to meet those characters. If you've ever felt that way, you need to read Inkheart. All right, the last category of books is whimsical storybook, fairy tale magic. Number one is this little tiny book right here. It is The Ordinary Princess. This is about Princess Amy. When she's born, her parents have a big party to celebrate that she's born in a way that's very similar to the beginning of Sleeping Beauty. Her godmother comes to give her a gift, and her parents are so excited because this fairy godmother has given their other daughters gifts like beauty and intelligence and the most gorgeous singing voice ever. And so they can't wait to see what they bless Amy with. You know what the fairy godmother blesses Amy with? To be ordinary. And I just love it. This is such a sweet little fairy tale about just loving yourself. You may compare yourself to others. You may think you're not as good as this person in this way, or you're not as smart as, so-and-so. But this is about loving yourself for who you are and finding your own confidence. Like most fairy tales, where the main character is a princess, she does fall in love in the end, and I just love the ending. I love the ending of this book. It is so cute, so sweet. And like I said, very short, very little. If you need a quick little read to get you out of a reading slump or whatever, read this book. It is so sweet. I've loved this book ever since I was a little girl. So check it out. For another childhood read that I recently reread and just feel like more people should talk about this book. This is The Great Good Thing. This is a book about a book. This book is like Toy Story, where when you look away, the characters in the book come alive and do their own thing, and they have their own lives. So it's like Toy Story, but with books instead of toys. Does that make sense? And so in this book, you see what happens when nobody's reading the book inside this book, and you see what these characters get up to. And we see our main character, Sylvie, is kind of sick of playing out the same story over and over and over again whenever her book is opened up. And so you see Sylvie go on a journey and figure out how to write her own story. It's, again, if you like books, if you like stories, if you like books about books, this is one for you. I have nothing more to say. It's great. It's good. It's a great, good thing. All right, the last book that I want to talk about is another graphic novel, and it is the Tea Dragon Society graphic novel series. There are 3 of them, I believe. I mean, just look at it. I feel like that's my argument right there. Look at it. Doesn't that look like spring to you? All of the bright, gorgeous colors, the flowers, the dragons. I love this book. I feel like this book is spring. It is whimsical. It is fairy tale. It is magic. It is about these little dragons that grow tea leaves on them, and then you can use those tea leaves to make tea. And you have to be very careful with these dragons and the way you care for them. And so these books are all about the people who are caring for these little tea dragons. It's just, just look at it. I feel like this is my argument. This is why I think you should read them. Look at it. And with that, those are all of the books that I think you should read this spring. All of the books that just really encapsulate all of the things I love about spring are these books. So I hope you found some good recommendations, some things that you want to add to your TBR for this season. I would love to know if you have any recommendations for me of books that you have read that you just feel like are quintessentially spring books. Please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to add some springy books to my spring TBR if you would care to share your recommendations with me. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble about books, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!